This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, right here on Blog Talk Radio, where we broadcast live Monday through Friday, every day from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Guys, this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. We're glad that you're here with us today. We have a great guest in the studio, but before we get started,
yes,
it is Friday.
It is Friday, John.
And Irv?
It's Soapbox Friday.
So we need something to complain about.
That's right.
Today's the day to do it.
Today I have a rant.
Well, let's hear it.
I have a rant. It's Soapbox Friday. And, folks, you know, this is the only time on this show that we allow you, if you've got a rant, you got a problem, you got a soapbox, you got an axe to grind, you know what? You can do it right here on Cruz and Hughes. But you know what? I'm going to help you because some of you are really positive and nice people and all that, and you put all that aside like you don't have a problem in the world. But you know what, John? I got one. I got a problem.
And I feel like you're going to tell us exactly what that problem is.
You know what my soapbox is?
What is it?
Phone books.
Phone books.
Phone books. Where do these things come from? And why do we need them now? I have this thing on my phone. I can find any number in America, around the world that I want to right on my cell phone.
A digital phone book is in every phone, every smartphone.
It's on my phone right now. But some of you people are sneaking around, piling up this paper at my front door. I never see you, but I know you're there. I come out of my front door, and there's piles and piles of these phone books. Where are they? Who is still printing these things?
And who's paying for the print?
And who is paying for that? And, I mean, it's little tiny ones like this. It's great big ones like this. And, you know, we're in one city. Now, all of you who listen to our show around the country, you know we're broadcasting from Houston. There's only one city. Now, it's the fourth largest city in America. Okay, fine. Do we need 14 phone books? No, we do not. Yet, these phone books, John, keep showing up at my house. I don't know who to call to stop this. Some of them don't even come from the phone company anymore. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
It's terrible. It's not the phone
company. Well, you
company.
know, the thing is, I guess in this day and age, I mean, some people are just slow to change.
Slow to change? John, I've got a pile of phone books. I mean, you can't use them. You can't line the bird cage with a phone book.
But think about all the uses that a phone book used to give us. I mean, when I was a kid, that was my first booster seat.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's still some uses to this thing.
John,
you know?
Look, the only thing I did with phone books, even back in the 70s, was to throw at my brother. I mean, I'm just telling you right now. I mean, phone books today, really? And you're piling these things. Here's my problem. Phone books and credit files. Right? That's my second soapbox.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, phone books and credit files. My other one I didn't tell y'all, but I got a problem with credit files. Now I'm gonna ask you this question.
All right.
Did you ever get a permission slip from anyone asking your permission to allow them to collect information on how you pay your creditors, keep your social security number, and then sell it to other people?
No, I never signed anything.
You never signed anything.
No.
You didn't ask for that.
No, I did not.
I didn't ask for that. Listen, if you asked for that and somebody sent you a permission slip, please give us a call and inform us. Straighten Irv out on this show. Because you know what? It's a soapbox. Now, I'm all for America. Don't get me wrong. I'm big on America, why I was born here. 1 out of 17 people are fortunate enough to be born on American soil. I'm one of them. I like that. What I don't like is somebody collecting up information on me. I didn't give them permission to do that.
And you know that's only going to get worse.
And it's going to get worse. And I feel like the whole country's hamstrung by these people who didn't even ask for that.
Well, speaking of that, we have a credit guy that's here with us.
Oh, we have
today.
a credit guy. Well, we teed that up nicely,
yes,
didn't we, man?
Did.
That was great.
Almost as if it was planned.
Well, guys, our guest today is Mr. Mark Anthony McCray. Now, Mark is Mark, how would you define yourself?
I would define myself as a financial consultant.
Okay.
I help small business owners, real estate investors, and real estate entrepreneurs obtain capital for their businesses. Now, as Irv mentioned, I work in the personal credit resource area as well. So that's something that we can talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you just got started on that. You've only hit the tip of the iceberg.
Sure.
But what I would tell you, John, and your audience, Irv, is that I help people obtain financing for their businesses. We know that is the number one challenge that a lot of people have. They've got a great idea. It's queued up. It's ready to go. A lot of times these days, they've got a great resume behind the idea. They're not just wishing and dreaming,
right?
That's right.
But they're having a hard time accessing the capital that they need to really get it off the ground. So if you look at the average small business launch out there, and we can get into this more later, they're launching with somewhere between $25,000 and $75,000.
That's right.
Now, that's not enough to fund a success. What we used to call it in the VC days, that you want to fund a success.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to just fund a logo and a website. You want people to be able to generate profit. So that's what I help people do to obtain the capital they need for their ventures.
Now, Mark is the regional manager of a company called Rising Point Solutions. He also holds a BA in economics from the University of Texas, Hook'em Horns, and an MBA from Texas State University. So Mark is very qualified to talk to us on the subjects that we're going to bring about today, and he's a good friend of mine. And Mark, we appreciate you coming in and being on the show with us.
It's my pleasure. You know what's funny, John, is that 10 minutes ago we were all laughing and smiling, talking about our travels around the world and around the country.
What we like best.
And then we're talking about the beaches and tourist attractions in California and New York, and then Irv starts ranting about phone books and credit. Kind of threw me for a loop. I was like, I didn't know I was in for this.
Well, you got to be versatile on this show. You got to be versatile.
Yeah, man. I mean, sometimes the pitches come at you fast, Mark. I'm telling you right now, man.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's start with Rising Point Solutions. Let's first of all establish what that firm does and what value you bring to your clients.
Sure. Well, Rising Point has a couple of things within the umbrella of what we do. We do work on personal credit restoration. So, and let's touch on that just for a second.
Okay.
As Irv mentioned, there are a number of companies out there. We normally call them the credit bureaus, and they're in the business of collecting information on you and selling it to other entities.
Right.
Whether it's accurate or not, they don't care.
That's right.
Because their buyers are still buying the product.
Right.
And so what we found is that most people have between 70 and 80% inaccuracy rate in their credit report.
Wow.
Now, I'm not naive. I do know, I like to tell people, I know that a lot of things that get on people's credit reports earn their way onto your credit report.
Right.
I'm no fool.
Right.
You're no fool. But what we try to focus on is making your credit history accurate. If we can do that, we can normally reclaim a lot of points on people's credit scores and help them move forward. We like to say, do not let a credit history stop you from obtaining your dreams. So we focus on the personal credit history and restoration. Now, what we started doing, what we brought into our house was business credit, because what we found is that a lot of people that were working on their personal credit, it really got messed up because they were trying to fund their business venture.
That's right. With their personal credit.
Yep. And a lot of people didn't understand the distinction between establishing a business entity and a sole proprietorship. Right. How do you finance them differently? And so this is something that people were screaming out for. And so we jumped into that arena as well. Now, we've been around since 2005. We've been doing this a long time. And we are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So your opinions of the BBB aside, you will find that most entities that operate in these arenas have somewhere between a C and an F rating.
Sure, that's right.
It's very hard to deal with people and their money and upset people and their money and maintain an A+ rating for many, many years.
Absolutely.
And so we're very proud of that, and we're very protective of it.
And with that being said, you made the comment, your feelings of the BBB aside, and each BBB, we have to mention, is run by a separate president, and they almost act as individual entities under one large umbrella. But here in Houston, we do operate a very, very good BBB. It's headed by the president of which is Dan Parsons. He runs a really tight ship. So I think there's something to be said about an A rating, especially if you operate inside the business
no doubt.
Footprint of Houston, Texas.
I completely agree, because there are business owners, and I'll just qualify my statement a little bit. There are business owners who feel as if they are overly punitive.
Sure.
And so you're right. They do a great job here in Houston in particular and across the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And so even within that environment, to maintain a standing in their good graces is something we're very proud of.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, tell me this. Now, who is your client? If you had to tell me who is the type of person that comes in that best benefits from the services of Rising Point, who would that be?
That is an outstanding question. I think the number one person I want to work with is someone who has a dream.
Okay.
Now, people that are still living in denial, and by denial, this happens on the personal and the business side.
Sure.
If you're not opening your mail, if you're not answering your phone, if you're not interested in improving your financial standing, either business or personally, then we're not really going to be someone that can help you, because unfortunately there's a pattern of thinking there that is still somewhat a victim mentality,
right,
and not necessarily operating in the realm of responsibility yet.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we work with people who are looking to make some strides forward. Now, on the personal side, the trigger is usually something like wanting to make a real estate purchase or investment, whether it be a home or an investment property. We know that fewer than 5% of Americans own investment property, where a lot of times those credit requirements are a lot more stringent.
Sure.
And so people will find out that they may be cash rich but credit poor, and they're looking for someone that can help them get over that hump. Now, on the business side, it's startups, it's franchises, it's people that are looking for operating capital for their companies. And I know that that's the number one thing that sort of caught your eye, and you called me and said, hey, let's come in the studio and talk about it, is that small business client.
Right.
And that's a huge part of my particular focus within Rising Point, because that's a big part of my personal history. I started off in angel financing and venture capital. So they felt as if of all the people within the company that this was a product that Mark could have some success helping us represent out there in the marketplace.
Our guest today is Mr. Mark Anthony McCray. Mark is the president of Rising Point Solutions. Mark is also a real estate finance coach, a credit consultant, author, and a speaker. We're going to talk a little bit more about Mark's book, some of his speaking engagements. If you'd like to connect with Mark, you can do so by going to his business website, which is www.risingpointsolutions.com. Stay with us. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, which is brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. You want to get the book that only talks about the way business is done, gives you business strategies and no news. Go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. More in a moment with Mark McCray. Stay with us.